Coming up on Bear News,
there are more people outside waiting than were inside that gym.
Two prominent politicians' rallies stops grew huge groups here on campus. Learn why people showed up.
I learned so much about UNC's history and my own university's impact.
A new exhibit focusing on baseball's history relating to UNC. Find out more and where to see it.
And what's really aggravating is that they target kids.
Learn about a ban affecting foods in the grocery stores near you. Bear News starts now. Welcome back, UNC, to another episode of Bear News. I'm Sophia Tavanello.
And I'm Jamison Rembert. We're back from spring break and excited to talk about what went down while we were gone.
How was your spring break?
Not bad. It was pretty good. I got to go home and see my family, so that was really nice. How was yours?
That's confidential for now, but I had a really good spring break. I went out of town and visited a state I'd never been to before.
Oh, very nice, very nice. That's
pretty
exciting.
Cool. Yeah. And moving to Bear News, Keith Humphrey has been appointed as the new Vice President of Student Affairs. University President Andy Feinstein announced the change in leadership in an email this afternoon. Humphrey has served in this role for 12 years at the California Polytechnic State University and is looking forward to working in Colorado. In his previous position, Humphrey oversaw more than 550 staff in over 30 departments, while supporting almost 23,000 students. The former holder of the title, Dale Pratt, was serving as the interim vice president since June of 2024. Pratt played a huge part in deciding the next person to take on the responsibilities.
Well, Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez made a stop in Greeley and Denver this past Friday as a part of the Fighting Oligarchy Tour, which aims to hold town halls with working-class Americans across the U.S. The turnout was insane. Bear News reporter Adam Johnson has more.
It's not every day that big-name politicians show up in a town like Greeley, but here they were, Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, standing in front of a packed crowd at the University of Northern Colorado, rallying against corporate greed and calling for economic justice.
And the American people are saying loud and clear, we will not accept an oligarchic form of society.
For a town often seen as just another dot on the map between Denver and Wyoming, Greeley isn't used to this kind of attention. It's a place better known for its cattle industry and college town charm than for attracting high-profile politicians. But boy, did people show out.
I think we got 10% of the community at this rally right now. Thank you.
Sanders and AOC spoke inside of the Bank of Colorado arena, but there were more people that were actually turned to the overflow crowd outside of the arena than there were inside. I was part of the majority that didn't make it into the arena. I was waiting in line, but, well, yeah, you get it. When all was said and done, over 10,000 people were estimated to be in attendance.
There are more people outside waiting than were inside that gym.
Love 'em or hate 'em, the visit from Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez shook up the usual routine in Greeley. Whether as a one-time stop or the beginning of a bigger conversation remains to be seen.
One thing's for sure, Greeley won't forget this visit anytime soon.
A new piece of UNC history calls the Michener Library home, and sports director Conlon Moe got to steal a look at the new exhibit that hopes to be a home run.
Every school has a history, and it can shape its culture for many years.
It connects the past, the present, and the future for the student and for the community.
One way that UNC showcases theirs is by displaying special exhibits at the Michener Library. Located on the lower level by room L119, is where special archives are put up, and here is where the latest of UNC's history is displayed. The most recent exhibit that is up is called UNC Baseball, slugging since 1890.
It's about how the athletic department became an athletic department, how it was a student-led organization that just bloomed into a program and then became a championship caliber program.
The exhibit consists of 4 displays, and they showcase many things like the coaches of years past, the accolades, the athletes that came through the program, and even the many uniform changes that the team has gone through. Adriana Trujillo, who is a research archivist and a student supervisor for the archives at the school, oversaw the development of the exhibit. The idea came from a discussion that they had with their supervisor and what would work for their first exhibit on the job.
We had looked at the previous exhibits that were here, and we look at what gaps there are, what's missing, what we haven't really talked about in a while. And athletics, there was a gap there. I thought, what a great way to connect not only with the athletic department, but with the local community to create a baseball exhibit here and then have one at the museum, but just a different type of baseball team.
The research process allowed Adriana to learn more about the school aside from the athletics.
I learned so much about UNC's history and my own university's impact because I wasn't involved in sports when I was here. So to be able to research that and learn about the impact that the athletic teams made is fascinating.
While the exhibit does showcase many photos of the faces from the past and present, there are a few 3D elements added. One of the pieces from the past in the accolades shelf, it is the 1925 Rocky Mountain Championship Trophy. The exhibit will be up for a whole year, and it will be taken down by a new one that Adriana will also oversee. While nothing is set up yet, they do have one idea in mind.
The representation of the LGBTQ community on campus and historically how it's changed, how people were finding that sense of belongingness when it wasn't as normal to be so open about it.
This is Colin Moe, signing off.
UNC recently earned the R2 Research Activity designation. Faculty, staff, and students at UNC have been awarded 113 doctorates and $9 million of research funding. But what does this look like in terms of the research itself? Reporter Sarah Samaniego spoke with Dr. Megan Dubray to find out.
Dr. Dubray introduces environmental studies students to climate change and its impacts on the everyday person. But just as she communicates these impacts to students, she is also working to further understand them in her research.
Most of what I focus on is sort of how humans are impacted by climate change and how they deal particularly with issues of water scarcity and water insecurity.
Dr. Dubray's research involves analyzing data and working with everyone from farmers to scientists to the everyday person.
So I want my research to be understandable to the average person, and I want my teaching to be meaningful to the average person.
Like most researchers, Dr. Dubray's work is reliant on government funding, so recent federal changes will determine if it continues.
So I'm hoping it actually gets used for that. That's the ideal goal.
I'm reporter Sarah Samaniego, Bear News.
If you'd like to hear an in-depth conversation with Dr. Dubray about research, anthropology, and environmental studies, stay tuned for the podcast segment coming this Friday.
Big things are changing in the food industry. Rules around additives are changing for the better of our health. Reporter Seth DiMarino took a dive into what's changed.
This is Bear News reporter Seth DiMarino reporting from the site of a big change. Red 3 has just been banned, and Red 40 may soon be following it.
In a significant move towards food safety, the FDA has officially banned the use of red dye number 3 in foods and ingested drugs.
It's crazy how many products actually contain Red 3 that people don't know about. And what's really aggravating is that they target kids with it because it's in candy, in medicine, in kids' drinks. That's not okay.
This synthetic dye, once commonly used to enhance the color of everything from candy to processed meats, has long been linked to cancer and animal studies. In fact, red dye number 3 was already prohibited in cosmetics back in 1990 due to similar health concerns.
Many would wonder if these chemicals are too dangerous for animals or to be put in cosmetic products. Why has it taken this long to get banned? Products we've been enjoying since we were kids are filled with these dangerous chemicals. Knowing what we know now about Red 3 and Red 40, would you still be okay giving these products to your kid?
The use of Red 3 and Red 40 makes production easier for companies, and consumers are so used to seeing the bright red colors on the shelves, they have no idea how many products contain these harmful chemicals. Now, manufacturers have until January 2027 to reformulate their products, eliminating this controversial additive. These products that were consistently stocked in stores for us presented problems for us, according to Dr. Eric Burr.
And here are some symptoms: hyperactive kids, allergies, increasing risk of cancer, and increasing estrogen. Now, as a developing child, you don't want to have too much estrogen. That can really affect all sorts of developmental things.
But the change isn't stopping there. In West Virginia, a new legislative move is gaining momentum. The House of Delegates has passed House Bill 2354, which aims to ban not just Red 40, but also other artificial dyes like Yellow 5 and Blue 2, citing potential neurological impacts on children. Under this bill, schools will be required to eliminate these artificial additives from meals by August 2025, with statewide ban to follow soon after. These recent moves highlight the growing need to reassess additives in our food, signaling a push for more transparency and better protection for consumers. In fact, manufacturers have already begun changing their products to meet the new demands. With this move towards healthy standards, it begs the question if we will soon ban Red 40 as well.
As we look forward to a healthier future, that's all I have for you today. It's been Bear News reporter Seth DiMarino. Back to you guys at the studio.
It's awesome to hear things are trending in the right direction with additives in food. Continue to tune in to Bear News for further updates.
Theater has a unique way of captivating audiences. With resources like the Counseling Center, students can find a balance between academics, acting, social life, and mental health. Reporter Sophia Raymond has more.
A powerful, emotionally charged performance recently took the stage at UNC. That Day in Tucson, based on a real-life mass shooting, forced both actors and the audience to confront uncomfortable emotions, offering a haunting reflection on tragedy, resilience, and the human experience.
Really and truly outside of your lines, just not thinking about it, just not doing things and just focusing on our schoolwork and focusing on our other things.
Actors had to balance their characters with their own lives.
You have to strike that balance of where the show lives versus where you live.
The play was cathartic for many actors, highlighting the need for emotional support, especially for those facing mental health challenges. The Counseling Center plays a vital role in providing that support during intense productions like That Day in Tucson.
We provide individual therapy, group therapy, crisis drop-in appointments, and psychiatric services.
As awareness of mental health grows, That Day in Tucson highlights how art can be both healing and challenging, sparking meaningful conversations about emotional impact.
That is, you have to let yourself feel in the right space, in the right time.
The curtain may have fallen, but the lessons about mental health will stay with these students long after. In theater and in life, the importance of mental well-being is undeniable. Bear News, Sophia Raymond.
As theater reflects life, That Day in Tucson highlights the powerful impact of mental health. If you or someone you know needs support, don't hesitate to reach out to the Counseling Center for help. Additionally, we here at Bear News would like to address a correction to the last newscast on this story. To clarify, actor Luke Avalos Gonzalez uses they/them pronouns.
Coming up after the break, we'll have the Colorado Grits hockey recap, upcoming UNC games, and the results of the basketball Big Sky tournament. We'll be right back.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray. Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
Welcome back, Bears. I'm Jalen Lee, and I bet y'all didn't know I was going to be here, but I hope y'all are pumped up because I'm giving sports a crack today, and boy, do we have a home run. To start us off, let's take a look at what our teams were up to over break. The baseball team only had one series over break and played North Dakota State. Out of the 3 games played, the Bears only won one of the games on Saturday, ending 4-3. Softball started on break, started the break on the road as they were in the middle of a tournament play in Los Angeles at the West Coast Conference Series. Unfortunately, they started the week off with a loss, losing 0-2, but the team turned things around in the most recent series against Santa Clara. The team finished strong with a 2-2 record and won the last two yesterday in a doubleheader. Shifting over to our strong boys, the NCAA Wrestling Championship started Thursday and ended Saturday. The Bears sent 4 wrestlers in: Steve O'Pullen, Dominic Serrano, Andrew Alirez, and Vincent Zerbin. Pullen finished 8th in the 125 weight class, while Zerbin placed 6th in the 157 weight class. Congrats on the wins and hard-fought battles over the break. Greeley's local NAHL team, the Colorado Grit, were back at home for the 2 games this weekend. The team played a 2-game series against the Amarillo Wranglers, with both games coming down to the wire. With both games going into overtime, the Wranglers took game 1, while the Grit bounced back and took the second. The Grit currently sit at 6th in the Southern Division, with the top 6 teams qualifying for the playoffs. The Grit look to hold on to their spot heading into the final stretch of the season. Your Grit will be heading to New Mexico this week to play in a 3-game series against the New Mexico Ice Wolves from Thursday to Saturday. Let's hope for a big weekend, and for the boys we head towards the playoffs with only 6 games left on the year. To do this next story justice, I want to have our resident soccer player and boss lady, Sophia Tavanello, cover it for us.
And I do love soccer, and I do like the nickname Boss Lady. I think we're going to keep it.
It's all right.
And with soccer in Denver, with every new sports team comes a new stadium that will be their new home. The newly announced Denver women's soccer team have released their plans on the new stadium that they hope will be up and running by 2028. Construction will begin next year inside Denver city limits, near the Broadway Light Rail station at Santa Fe Yards. The plans not only include a 14,000-seated stadium, but a 3 to 5 acre park and what is being called a mixed-use development. And although a team name still has not been released, I know I'm not the only one who's excited for this team. What do you think about that, Jalen?
I think that's actually very exciting, but 2028, that is so far away.
It is pretty far, and in the meantime, I think the team might be playing at the Dick's Sporting Goods Park in Commerce City, where the Rapids play, so the boys better get over, right?
Yeah, I heard about that. I also heard that they might be at the Broncos Stadium, so we'll see what happens.
Maybe.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Well, anyway, while Bear News and the rest of campus was away on spring break, the UNC basketball team finished their historic season, but unfortunately, in a game where stakes were high, the conference championship, the Bears lost to Montana 91-83. With the winner of the game getting an automatic ticket to March Madness, Montana advanced as a 14 seed and the Bears received an invite to the NIT. Our Bears played 1 seed UC Irvine and lost in a well-fought game, 72-82. UC Irvine is now set to play in the quarterfinals tomorrow night. We want to congratulate our team on their historic 2025 season, and with some key players hitting the transfer portal, we can't wait to see what the team is cooking this offseason. Now, sadly, the time on the clock is running out for this segment, but don't worry, because I've got a buzzer beater with the upcoming games and matchups that our Bears have this week. Baseball will be flying to Omaha, Nebraska, to take on the University of Omaha in a 3-game series starting Friday. Softball will be home and also have a 3-game series against the Montana Grizzlies. The series starts Friday with the Bears playing a doubleheader. The games will be home, so with the good weather, I better see you out there. Lastly, the outdoor track and field season is set to take off on Friday as the team will head to CSU for the Jack Christensen Invite. Now that's it for me today. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. I'm Jalen Lee, and I'm going to throw it back to you, Sophia and J-Mo.
Thank you, Jalen. And that's it for our first show back. Thank you for watching. I'm Sophia Tavanello.
And I'm Jameson Rembert. We will see you guys next time.